Hey guys, it's Andrew Henderson from Nomad Capitalist, nomadcapitalist.com, here in Kuala Lumpur, and I wanted to make more of a vlog today to talk about some things that I've been thinking about that I think potentially you could benefit from not having to learn the hard way as I have. We're going to be a little bit different than the banking and the passport stuff today, but I think it'll be helpful. So when it comes to the nomad capitalist lifestyle, I think what a lot of it boils down to is practicing the art of non-conformity. There's a great book by that title. But really, when you look at, what is a nomad capitalist, it's somebody who bucks the trend. It's somebody who does things differently than the system. And, when I go on my social media, when I talk to my social circles, I'm surrounded by folks who are contrarians, who are non-conformists, who are living the nomad capitalist lifestyle. And it's easy to think that in this day and age of digital nomads everywhere, how to quit the 9-to-5 grind everywhere, everyone's got a blog. It's easy to think that everyone's doing what you're doing. It's easy to think that everyone's into this nomad capitalist lifestyle. But when you go all around the world, and even when you go in your own country, you realize that's not the case. Most people have 9-to-5 jobs. Most people are doing all of their banking, all of their investing, all of their everything, their citizenship. It's all in one country. Very un-nomad capitalist. And so I think that what over the last 10 years of researching and doing this nomad capitalist stuff, and even more of that, more time before that, being in business for myself from age 19 and being very much a nonconformist by doing that and by dropping out of college to do that, you start to think that everything is about nonconformity, that every established principle is wrong. And so I wanted to talk about a few things that I've run into today. I had a conversation with my new chief of staff here at Nomad Capitalist. He's kind of like the HR manager on steroids, and he works with our team, and he's been doing a lot to get our team happier and healthier and more productive, and we got a lot of great things coming out with the team for this year. But then what he did is he did something that I didn't expect. He turned to me and said, all right, Andrew, now I'm going to talk to you and I'm going to give you some advice. He says, when was the last time you took a holiday? When was the last time you took a vacation? And I said, I don't really know the answer to that, because I feel like in a sense my life is a vacation. Last year I spent well over 200 nights in hotels. And while I'm doing a lot less of that this year, I still do a lot of travel around the world. I stay in really nice places. I love what I do. And he says, well, Andrew, that's not an answer. He says, when was the last time you actually took a holiday? You took a week off. You didn't answer the phone. You didn't answer emails. You didn't talk to anybody. You weren't talking to, Andrea or Ivana. I said, I don't know. And I said, part of why I don't know is because I feel like I'm such a nonconformist. I'm doing holidays my way. I'm doing things my way. And having a life that's a holiday has always seemed more interesting than actually taking a holiday. After all, going on vacation seems like what people who work in cubicles do. People who go to 9-to-5 jobs, they can't wait to take that 1 or 2 or 3 weeks or 4 weeks, whatever it is, a year off, and go to Ibiza or to go to Cancun or to go to somewhere that I really want to go. And he said, no, you're not exempt from this. Living this nonconformist life doesn't exempt you from the fact that you need to take every once in a while a week or two off to go and totally shut down and recharge your batteries. My life is a vacation is a lie. And so that really got me thinking of, what are the other areas that perhaps I and others I know have tried to be too nonconformist over the years. Looking at our staff and looking at the way we run our company, my views on staffing and hiring going back, 10 or 12 years when I was first starting out in business are much different now than they were back then. What I've realized is that, big corporations, for example, do some things correctly. Having set hours, having routines, having set meetings between different colleagues at different times actually helps to increase productivity. This whole highly entrepreneurial thing of wake up whenever you want, work whenever you want, work from wherever you want, has not really worked as effectively for our team. There's a benefit to being distributed and to being in different places, but to still having a routine. And so I think that one of the things that I have learned over the years, gradually, of working and doing business and hiring in the nomad capitalist way, is that there are still some of those basic let's call them corporate principles that still apply. Routine still matters. Doing things at the same time, having firm job descriptions, having clear policies, those things still matter. And one of the policies that I tell our team, and now our chief of staff is telling me, is you need some time for yourself. You need lunch every day. Don't think that you're going to be a Superman and just power through a big stretch of time without taking a lunch, or in my case, go months and months and years without really taking a formal vacation where you totally just clear your head. And so that's important. I also think that one of the things that I'm trying to do a little bit more of, again in the vein of recharging and being at my best, is practicing what one of my friends calls post-tourism, which is when you've done, as he and I and many of my other friends have done, and you've gone to the Transnistrias and the Moldovas and the Azerbaijans and the Laoses and all these countries that you're looking for opportunities, you're looking to see what's up and coming, and maybe they're not quite as interesting or don't have the comforts that you would be used to. There's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, I'm going to go to Ubud in Bali and just kind of chill out and just have a smoothie. There's nothing wrong even with saying, you know what, I'm going to go to Cancun. I did a little mastermind with some folks a couple months ago in Cancun on the beach. And I thought to myself, this is nice, I need some more beaches. Who cares if everyone else here, for the most part, are Americans who probably don't know much about the world. That doesn't diminish my ability to be in Cancun and enjoy the beauty. Now, are there better beaches than Cancun? Of course. But Cancun offers a lot of facilities. It has beautiful 5-star hotels, has the things that maybe some of the more up-and-coming beaches don't have, and that there's a need for that every once in a while. I think that part of what a lot of nomad capitalist types do in this desire to be contrarian is throw at everything that works for a lot of people and probably works for them for a reason. I mean, there's a reason that people like to go to Cancun if they're from the United States. There's something interesting about that. Now, I'm not saying, hey, don't find the better beaches, because again, there are. I'm not saying totally follow the herd, but I'm saying if you like going to Cancun every once in a while, don't throw it out just because you feel like you're not being contrarian enough. My friend's comment of post-tourism is, you're so far beyond being a tourist that every once in a while you're allowed to come and be a tourist, and you shouldn't feel badly about that. And I think the same thing also goes for investing. I'm meeting up with some folks next week in frontier markets to help them figure out how to invest in frontier markets. And that, I think, is what's going to work for them. It's going to help them, in some cases, do immigration procedures. It's going to help them earn some excellent returns. Their personal profile matches frontier markets. But there are other folks who I've helped in the past who their profile is much more suited for a developed market. And there's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, I'm going to put part of my money in a developed country, and maybe it's in the US in a high-yield city. Maybe it's somewhere else, in Europe, where I just feel like the money is just going to be stable. This is kind of the same as putting the bank account. I think that, at times, this desire to, again, be non-conformist, be contrarian, leads people to places that they may or may not want to invest or may not understand. So what I would say to tie this all together is examine, how do you want to be a contrarian? How do you want to be a nonconformist? Why are you doing those things? Why does the nomad capitalist lifestyle appeal to you? At its core, nomad capitalist is all about what we say, go where you're treated best. And I think that what some folks think is they kind of throw the baby out with the bathwater, and I've perhaps been guilty of this over the years in my own life as well, where you say, hey, the U.S. is not a great place to be. Being a U.S. citizen isn't as optimal as I'd like. And you miss the fact that, well, maybe there's a U.S. bank that works into your plan, or maybe there's some kind of investment that's based in the U.S. that could work for you. And you throw the baby out with the bathwater. I think that really diving deep to understand how you're benefiting from being a contrarian, from being a nomad capitalist is important, and that you're not just throwing out the corporate rule book and everything that worked for big corporations to help them make a lot of money, that you're not just throwing out places that you might want to go to because you're afraid of going there, that you're not just throwing out opportunities that might make sense for you, but they're not contrarian enough. I think there's a really powerful lesson in that. It's something that my chief of staff kind of energized my brain. I wanted to share it with you. I hope that that helps, and I would love for you to leave a comment below if you have any other ideas of where this can be adapted, or things that you've done perhaps that haven't worked out or that have worked out that we can all learn from. So I hope you got a lot out of that. NomadCapitalist.com, we've got about 2,000 resources, audio, video, and articles on how you can live the Nomad Capitalist lifestyle, the whole 360-degree picture. And of course, right here on YouTube, you can subscribe to get all of our latest videos and make sure you don't miss a thing. So click the subscribe button now, check out NomadCapitalist.com, and leave your thoughts in the comments below.